So here's the solutions video to your inverse variation homework. Remember, inverse variations, direct you divide, inverse you multiply. So let's go ahead. Show that one variable in the table varies as inversely as the other. So we need to show that when we multiply, we get the same thing. Well, no, let's change the size of that. Whoop. Let's change that. Okay, let's try again. So, when I multiply those, 1 times 40, you get 40. When I multiply those, 2 times 20 is 40. When you multiply those, 4 times 10 equals 40. You get the same thing every time. So it is inverse, and when we write our equation is our two varies multiplied, and we have to know our k. Well, since they always multiply to 40, our k is 40. So x times y equals 40 is our equation. Okay? In this case, when I multiply these, 2 times 50 equals 100. 4 times 25 equals 100. 10 times 10 equals 100. You get 100 every time, so 100 is your k. So r times t equals 100. That is your equation. You need to have all of this work, people. Okay, here we've got 12 times 12, you get 144. 24 times 6, you also get 144. Guess what? 36 times 4 gives me 144. So my k is 144. My equation is c times d equals 144. Okay, now, again, we are told that the product is constant. So we are told that this is an inverse variation. We have to go ahead and do the work to find what's missing. I've noticed some of you guys like to use question marks. That's totally cool. I'm going to put an A in for mine and a B in over here. Okay, now they told me that the product is constant. I always pick the first ones, but you don't have to. So I know that 36 times 2 is going to have to give me 8 times A. Well, 36 times 2 is 72. You get A is equal to 9. So here goes a 9. Then we go ahead to find B. We're going to do the same thing. If you want to pick something different, go ahead. But I don't see the point in not using 36 and 2 all over again. So 36 times 2 is equal to 9B. 72 equals 9B. You end up getting that 8 is equal to B. So there's my other missing one. So it was 9 and it was 8. When I come over to this one, again, you're told that it's constant. Why not pick the first one? So 10 times 3 is equal to, I'll call this A. 4 times A. 30 is equal to 4A. When you divide by 4, okay, you get 30 over 4 is equal to A. Fractions are fine, but that's not simplified. You can divide it 2 out of both of those. So if you want, you can write this as 15 over 2. Or if you really want to, you can write this as 7.5. Okay? You'll do the same thing to find your other one, and you should get 15. Okay, so this one right here should be 15. You're going to set up 6 the same exact way, all right? You need to show all of the work. So we're going to do 2 times 5. I'll let this be my A. 2 times 5 is equal to 3A. 10 is equal to 3A, or A is equal to 10 thirds. Okay? And then you go ahead to find this question mark up here. I let it be B, but I'm running out of room, so I'll just tell you that the answer is 4. Okay, but you need to show all of the work. Now let's go ahead down here. We needed to determine if these were direct, inverse, or neither. Direct means divide, inverse means multiply. So if I look, okay, Now, let's see. Let's test to see if this is direct. If this is direct, that means when I divide these, that should give me the same thing as when I divide those. Well, 6 divided by -2, all right, if I'm testing y over x, 6 divided by -2 is -3. That's not the same thing as 4 divided by -3, so this is not direct. But if I go ahead and multiply 6 times -2, so I'm multiplying, that gives me -12. 4 times -3 gives me -12. 2 times -6 gives me -12. 1 times -2 gives me -12. I'm always multiplying and I'm getting the same constant, so this is going to be inverse. Okay? Over here, if I look, 3 times 1, that's 3. That's not the same thing as 12 times 4, so this is not multiplication, so it's not inverse. Okay, but if I test to see if it's direct, if I do y over x, well, 3 divided by 1 is 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And guess what? 27 over 9 is 3. So when I divide, I get the same constant. Divide means direct, so this one is direct. When you test this one, if you check, when you multiply them, here you get 20, here you get 35. So multiplication doesn't work, so it's not inverse. When you divide, well, if we look over here, all right, here I'm going to skip one. 2/10, that's the same thing as 1/5. 8 over 4 is 2. 1/5 and 2 are definitely not the same thing. And so multiplication didn't work, division didn't work, so this is neither. Okay? 10 is easy. They flat out tell you that you're multiplying and getting a constant, so this is inverse. 11 is easy too. They're straight up, they already give it to you dividing and it's equal to a constant. Don't get thrown off that it's a 1/3, all right? Even though 1/3 is a fraction, it's still a constant. So you're dividing to get a constant, so this is direct. And 12 is neither because you have an addition sign in there. Moving on. All right, some of you guys, I noticed you were just flying through and multiplying them. Okay, be careful because I mixed it up on you guys. Okay, yes, some of these are inverse, but also some of them are direct. So some of this is the same thing as last time. We did a ton of direct examples. So if we look, resistance varies directly as length. Direct means divide. So R divided by L is equal to K. Volume varies inversely as pressure. Inverse means multiply. So V times P is equal to K. Now here it says that it remains 100. So if it's remaining, it's constant. So here my K is equal to 100. And then it says that R varies inversely as T. Inverse means multiply. So R times T is equal to 100. Okay? Make sure you don't put K. In this case, it tells us that our constant is 100. So we're at 100, not K. Here we have volume varies directly as the absolute temperature. Volume varies directly as the absolute temperature. So there's my K. Okay, same thing with this next section. It's a mixture of inverse and direct. So make sure you actually read the question. Okay, for 17, X varies inversely as Y. So I know I'm doing X times Y. So I've got 4 times 5 is equal to X times 10. Well, that gives me 20 is equal to 10X. Divide both sides by 10, X is equal to 2. For 18, Y varies directly as X. This is direct, so we're dividing. Y divided by X. So I've got 50 over 5 is equal to Y over 10. Here's where we cross multiply. 500 equals 5Y. Divide both sides by 5. y is equal to 100. 9 is also direct. D varies directly as t. So we're doing d divided by t. And I've got 30 when t is 1/2, and that's equal, when d is 20, we want to find t. Go ahead and cross multiply. 20 times 1/2 is 10 is equal to 30t. Divide both sides by 30, you get 1/3 is equal to t. Pretty sure that one's a repeat. You guys have already done that question on the direct variation sheet. Let me get some room. R varies inversely as t. So inverse means we're multiplying r times t. And we've got 40 times 1/2. We want to find r when t is equal to 4. 1/2 times 40 gives me 20 is equal to 4r. Divide both sides by 4, r is equal to 5. And for 21 and 22, even though this is on the inverse sheet, it's a mixture, okay? These are actually both direct, and we've already done number 22, I think. We need to set up proportions. 8 presses can do it in 6 hours. We want to find out if I have 3 presses, how many hours that will be. So you cross multiply, you get 18 equals 8x. Or x is equal to 2 point something, 2.5. Okay. Same thing with 22. 3 men earn 180. If I had 15 men, how much will that be? You go ahead and cross multiply. You get 3x is equal to 2,700. Divide both sides by 3, x is equal to $900, because this is about pay. Okay, going down to these ones, you have to graph. All right, a lot of you guys forgot to graph on the direct sheet. Don't forget this. It even says to use graph paper. Okay, but remember, when you graph things, they always have to be y equals. So for this one, we're going to have to divide both sides by x. Put y is equal to 12 over x into your calculator. You are going to get something weird. Okay? Something very weird. Find the nice points and graph it. Okay? Let me skip 24 for number 25. Y is already by itself. Put this in your calculator. You are also going to get something very weird. It is going to look very similar to what you got for 23. We are going to talk about this next class. And then for 24, y is not by itself, so you multiply both sides by x. You get y is equal to 3x. Graphing that should be easy because it is a line. And that is it. I am done.